there is no deny that at this station, maybe in general, maybe even more so than Andy Dirt Johnson, maybe more so than the brand man Dusty Hera, I love me some Dante Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I love Dante Moore. I've been on the record saying I think he is fantastic. I thought this was another really, really great, solid game from Dante Moore. I thought the poise was there. He was in very much control, and he had 2 or 3 passes that just make you go, that I didn't see from the stands, that I had to go back and rewatch. And when I'm watching from TV, some passes that I looked at and said, wow, those are throws.
I thought USC probably gave Oregon too much cushion in the first half, let some of those 7-8 yarders that turned into like 12, 13 yarders go a little too much. But
I felt like they kind of game planned like, let Dante beat us.
I think they did too. In that regard, that's what I wanted them to do. But
you want them to do that, and I don't mean this because you're a jerk. You wanted them to do that because you aren't as high on Dante as I am.
It's not just that. Don't get me wrong. Oregon ran for 179 yards.
Yeah, that's the key to the game.
But it's on 41 carries.
It's a lot.
The longest run they had was 17 yards. And they didn't break the back-breaking 40, 50-yarder. They gang tackled really well. The problem was they got through the line of scrimmage too far. They got too many 5, 6, 7-yard carries. Yep. That's the issue. That's where Oregon, the lack of depth. Desmond Stevens had 17 tackles.
That's a lot.
17 tackles. He was everywhere for them. He was great. But Oregon, they weren't getting the explosives there. They were getting the explosives or bigger plays out of those mid routes from Sadiq, from McClellan, Jamari Johnson. I mean, Malik Benson. Like those were the like. Dante wasn't throwing the ball, like it wasn't like deep air yard throws. They were the 8 to 12 yarders, and it turned into 18 or 20. The longest play they had was the Malik Benson 30-yarder.
And Dante made Jeremiah McClellan look like Decorian Moore.
I mean, he had a great throw. I mean, for me, the throw of the game was to Sadiq.
Without a doubt. Cut that safety held back and didn't quite follow it, and then those 2 DBs were kind of crossing.
Yep.
And it was a larger window than it wasn't like thread needle.
It wasn't
per se.
the Iowa throw, but it was a great throw when he needed it the most.
But it was fantastic. I thought his poise as well was really great. And you know another thing, outside of maybe there was a play in the first quarter, a throw to Noah Whittington kind of out in the flats. That was kind of a bad throw.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of those bad throws we've seen from Dante.
The bad throw was the pick where he clearly got crossed up.
Without a doubt. But those throws that are like kind of underthrown, that a receiver makes a play or Kenyon slows down to get it.
A guy comes back and makes a great catch.
Right. I didn't see a lot of those.
No. Sadiq had one, and then was it McClellan that had one? I think there was only 2 in the game where I was like, ooh, that was a hell of a catch.
There's a couple decent times where wide receivers were dropping balls and kind of timing plays, like really quick slants to throw to the outside. That's just young kids trying to learn how to play. And Dante, it's hard to get on the same page that quickly on those timing throws when you got guys hurt all the time.
And Dante wasn't game managing. He made throws when he needed to make throws, and that's been my criticism of him, is that in those moments he has kind of underthrown some of those against lesser opponents. And against USC, he didn't do that.
There's also been some chatter that Dante doesn't like to get hit, and I don't know any quarterback that really likes to get hit.
There's a couple psychos out there that don't care.
I've seen Peyton Manning and Eli Manning for a living go down. Yeah. Phillip Rivers as well go down. Like, I am not getting hit here. So I don't hold him that. But I think the moral of that story is, like, he doesn't like to be pressured.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of times, credit to USC's defense, and they said it on the broadcast as well, and I thought USC could have done more of that, would let go of the ball and then get a nice little boom. Nice little boom. And sometimes it'd knock him down to the ground. And I thought that was a great game plan. Not playing dirty, but a great game plan.
Let him feel you.
Rattle him up, like get him. And it just didn't.
Yeah.
It just didn't. And he calmed down and was cool and collected. And he looked like the Dante as advertised. And I think, yes, the run game, yes, Will Stein in the run game was absolutely the reason why USC lost this game, why Oregon won this game.
Because they kept the chains moving, they kept the clock going, and they limited some of the possession time for USC, and they couldn't be as explosive in those. And Oregon, both in quick strike and having some longer drives, they did the thing where they weren't getting the 40, 50 yarders, but again, they were getting the 8 to 12 yarders pretty regularly. And that's where it was one of those things for USC. I'm like, safety being out. It's like, all right, yeah, I know the depth isn't there. The front seven, like they were effective, but they don't have the depth to turn guys out and keep that pressure up. And like we said, we talked about it off air. 73 throws between both quarterbacks, 1 sack. Mayav was clean pretty much the entire game until late in the game, and he had all day to throw.
And most of Dante's pressures were in the first half.
Yep. Both lines did really well in the passing game.
Yeah, for all the praise we gave Jordan Mailata for making big throws when he needed to on third down and such, Dante was there. They just weren't as big, and there weren't the big PI calls as well. Boy, if you flip this on its head,
Mailata's numbers end up looking a lot crazier if the PIs are catches.
Oh, without a doubt.
Or if they're, the yardage is a spot foul.
If flip this on its head for funsies, if Mailata has Oregon's run game, I mean, that team competes for a national championship.
It's over.
And Oregon was able to have that dominating run game. And look, and I know we've kind of glossed over it, and maybe it deserves a little bit more talking about, but it was so dominant and so aggressive that it's almost an afterthought. And at this point in the season, we know that's what Oregon does.
That's what they're
Noah Whittington is RB1.
Yep.
Davison is the touchdown goblin. And De'Aaron Hill can get you some flash plays when they don't expect De'Aaron Hill to do things.
Dusty and I were talking on Friday before I left after the show about the game, and he's like, watch for De'Aaron Hill. And he did have a little sprinkling of like, whoop, and just, picking up again, like 7-yarders, 8-yarders. He had 4 carries for 28 yards. He averaged 7 yards a carry. That's the difference in this game. Not him, but like USC was not able to get negative plays. Oregon wasn't either. And again, like if I have any like, I still don't like that for Oregon, it was the lack of disruptives. Again, only 1 sack. Would they finish with five TFLs? 6, my bad. Were they made up for it though? They broke up 5 passes and they got 2 picks. That's where they made up for it. They forced the turnovers. And that was what for me, the biggest changes in this game were the Mailata pick where he threw into double coverage. It was just like, what are you doing? It was the penalty on the missed field goal.
The leaping.
The punt return for a touchdown. And USC not scoring at the half. And not even just a field goal. They should have gotten a touchdown there.
3 special teams blunders. Benson runs a kickback, the leaping penalty,
and a missed
and a
goal.
doink.
Yep.
That's so many points left on the field.
Those 3 plays get flipped. Different game.
Yep. And
I'm not saying USC wins off those 3 games.
No.
Those were the momentum to kind of deciding plays that swung how you played the game.
Because it forced USC to be desperate.
Yep.
And Oregon never had to play desperate.
Nope.
And as much as, again, as I'll circle back on it, as I've been critical of Will Stein and his play calling, I've realized I've been wrong about what Will Stein wants to do. And it's be patient. And
with Oregon?
It's be patient and let his guys show up. And they did.
USC elected to receive, which I was like, oh, they want to go for this. Don't know if I necessarily like that, but I get where they're coming from. They go down and score. And Autzen got quiet.
It got real quiet because that third down was the loudest it was, and it was pin drop after that first touchdown.
And it was like, and then what does Oregon do? They come out and they respond immediately.
Boom.
That was, and what has Oregon not done this year? They have not been quick starters.
No, they have not.
And that was a major difference for me. And I remember
28 on the board in the first half.
I looked over at the Duck fans around me after Oregon scored, and I go, well, gonna be a game.
Yeah. And then it wasn't.
It went about as I expected it.
Yeah, I guess so. I think so, too. And there's some nice comments from Dan Lanning about how we'll play however you want to play. We'll get to some of that stuff tomorrow. Chat a little Dan Lanning and throwing shade at the SEC. God, I love Dan Lanning.
Yeah, there's another clip of Lanning at Georgia doing the exact opposite.
Chattanooga State.
It's weird how that what's good for the goose is not good for the gander sometimes.
We'll get to Dan Lanning tomorrow on that. We'll circle back on this in the Big Nooner and kind of look at Oregon going forward and kind of say, what this win does for them as they look ahead to the Huskies. And boy, if I'm the Huskies, Noah Whittington scares the ever-loving Chibis out of me.